The party was in full swing, the dim glow from 100 candles casting strange shadows that twisted across the walls. Music thumped, people danced, and laughter echoed through the house. But Evelyn felt uneasy. Something about this Halloween party felt off. It wasn't just the dim lighting or Tyler's creepy decorations. It was something heavier. A chill hung in the air, a feeling that someone was watching. She tried to shake it off, her fingers tapping against her plastic cup as she took in the crowd. Tyler's parties were usually wild but harmless, but tonight something was different. There were strangers here, people she'd never seen before. Among the clowns, skeletons, and fake blood, she spotted one mask that made her stomach twist, a featureless white face with no mouth, no eyes. Just blank and staring like a ghost without a soul. "All right, everyone," Tyler's voice boomed, pulling her attention. He stood on the coffee table, dressed as a butcher with red-streaked clothes that looked a little too realistic. "Tonight, we're playing a special Halloween game. I call it Unmasking the Killer." The room broke into cheers, some people nervously laughing, others raising their drinks in agreement. Tyler held up a deck of cards, fanning them out. "Here's the deal. Everyone takes a card. One of them marks you as the killer, and the rest of you are the targets. If the killer tags you, you're out, and you've got to wait in the basement until the game's over. Last person standing wins a prize." He grinned, eyes gleaming. "And remember, keep it quiet if you're out. Don't want to ruin the surprise, right?" Evelyn couldn't ignore the sick feeling in her gut. She caught her friend Maya's eye, who was decked out in skeleton face paint. Maya raised an eyebrow. "Are we really doing this?" Evelyn shrugged, trying to keep things light. "Come on, what's Halloween without a little scare?" They each took a card. Evelyn looked down at hers. Just a simple black X, not the killer. She let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding and glanced around, catching glimpses of her friends checking their own cards. But among them, she saw that plain, white mask. The person wearing it wasn't reacting at all, just staring. The blank face made her shiver. Who even invited them? The lights dimmed again, almost as if on cue, and the crowd dispersed around the house, moving like whispers in the dark. Everyone seemed excited, but Evelyn noticed a change in the energy. People were glancing over their shoulders, stepping lightly, even whispering as if afraid to break the silence. The game began. At first, it felt like a prank, nothing but suspenseful fun. Evelyn hung out by the kitchen, listening as people tried to guess who the killer might be. But soon, she noticed something strange. Each time someone was out, they didn't come back. No dramatic exits, no laughter. They just disappeared down into the basement. It was so quiet, almost too quiet. And that sick feeling was creeping back, stronger this time. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The music cut out, and for a moment, the room plunged into silence. A tense laugh broke from the crowd, but it sounded strained, nervous. Evelyn looked around, heart pounding, feeling more on edge than she wanted to admit. And then she saw it, a smear of something dark along the floor near the hallway. She squinted, trying to make it out, but the lights went dark again, and a voice whispered close to her ear. "Having fun, Evelyn?" She whipped around, but found herself face to face with nothing but air. She was alone in the hallway. Her pulse pounded in her ears as she tried to convince herself it was just her imagination, just Tyler's dumb game, she thought. Don't let it get to you. But something was definitely off. Another scream echoed from down the hall, piercing the darkness, followed by hurried footsteps. She barely had time to react when someone bumped into her. Ben, dressed as a zombie doctor, looking more rattled than she'd ever seen him. "Evelyn," he whispered, gripping her arm. "Someone's..." I think someone's actually hurt." His voice was tight, scared, nothing like the teasing Ben she knew. "I saw a guy in a mask dragging someone down the stairs." But when I called out, he just looked at me, and God, it was so weird, like he was smiling under the mask, like he wanted me to see. Evelyn's skin prickled. This was supposed to be a prank, a silly party game, but the fear in Ben's eyes was too real. Let's go find Tyler," she said, grabbing Ben's hand and pulling him back into the main room. But it was nearly empty now. Only a handful of people were left, huddled in a circle, looking just as freaked out as she felt. Tyler was nowhere to be seen. And there it was again, that mask. The white mask standing in the doorway, staring at them. Evelyn's heart raced as she watched it slowly, deliberately, tilt its head, as if savoring the fear in the room. The mask took a step forward, the white face gleaming in the candlelight, and the room fell silent. No one dared to move. Someone near her gasped, "Where's Tyler?" Evelyn's throat went dry. I don't know. I thought he'd be here." The masked figure moved again, stepping into the circle of light, slow and deliberate. One by one, they shrank back, realizing no one had ever seen who was under that mask. And in that frozen silence, the figure raised a hand, pointing a single gloved finger directly at Evelyn. She felt a cold dread wash over her. This isn't part of the game, is it?" Her voice was barely a whisper, her words lost in the thickening tension of the room. The masked figure tilted its head, almost as if in response, and then it moved. Fast. Too fast. It lunged forward, grabbing Ben, and in an instant, he was screaming, struggling as he was dragged toward the basement door. "Ben!" Evelyn cried, reaching out, but the basement door slammed shut before she could reach him. Silence settled over the room once more, thick and suffocating. The remaining guests looked at each other, panic setting in as they realized they were trapped, truly trapped, with someone or something intent on picking them off one by one. A girl in a witch costume started crying, whispering, "This isn't happening. This can't be happening." Evelyn felt the walls closing in, her heart pounding so hard it hurt, but she forced herself to take a breath, to think. She looked around at the frightened faces, the flickering candles, the shadows that seemed to pulse and stretch like living things. And then she noticed it. A faint, almost invisible trail of red leading from the basement stairs, staining the floor like blood. A wave of nausea hit her, and she realized, with sickening clarity, that this wasn't a game. It was real. They were trapped with a killer, and the only way out was to survive the night. Taking a step back, Evelyn felt her spine press against the cold wall, her gaze locked on the basement door. She thought she could hear faint sounds, whispers, or maybe soft footsteps from below. The one thing was certain. Whatever was down there wasn't just a friend pulling a prank. And in that dark, silent house, Evelyn knew one thing above all. She was next.